You startled me. I didn't see you there. I was too busy looking at this fresh bread that I made. Want to see a video on this? Leave a comment in the comments section. But today we're not talking about bread. No, today we are talking about salmon. Today we're making Gravlax. For those of you who like sushi that has raw fish, you're probably gonna like this. For those of you who like smoked salmon, you're also probably gonna like this. If you like overcooked salmon with bland rice, fuck off. Stop eating that. It's not good. It's like cat food, man. What are you doing? What is Gravlax? It is a cured salmon. What it is composed of is pretty simple. You're gonna find that different people make Gravlax in different ways. I want to keep it as basic as possible, so I keep dill. I have my kosher salt, I have my sugar, and then I have my fillet of salmon. You guys can see that there is no skin over here. You're not going to want it to have skin. You're going to want it to take in the cure equally on both sides. A buddy of mine recently told me you have to, buy sushi grade salmon or at least freeze your salmon to get rid of parasites in salmon. I mean, to each their own, but what I would say to that is don't get sushi grade salmon for Gravlax, because the whole allure of sushi grade salmon is that it's great to eat raw, and I feel like curing it is kind of taken away from the fact that it is sushi grade salmon. So all you need is a salmon fillet and your salt, your sugar, your dill, and you're good to go. For the cure itself, what you're going to do is you're going to take a 1/4 cup of salt. Just going to go ahead and get that right there, kosher salt. You're going to take a 1/4 cup of sugar. I tend to gravitate towards white sugar for this. You could try out brown sugar, let me know what you think. And then you're going to take an extra tablespoon of the white sugar. Just dump that in because you want that cure to have a nice sweetness to it. So we have our cure right over here. What that means is we have something to rub the salmon with so that we don't have to cook it, but it's still safe to eat. We're never going to cook this because also I don't like cooked salmon. When I was a kid, every Wednesday was fish night, and though she swears that it wasn't the case, I remember the salmon being overcooked and my mom just forcing us to eat it in like a kind of draconian way. Looking back on that, it's probably, not realistic. My mom is a great cook, and she actually taught me all I know about cooking. I'm looking back on my childhood with shit-tinted glasses. So, we have our cure. It's good to go. We have a bed of dill over here. We're gonna go ahead and take some paper towel, pat that salmon down. We don't want that extra moisture in there. Pat that salmon down. Good to go. We're going to place it on that bed of dill. Generally speaking, I would use more dill, but this is what I had in my house, and that's what we're going to use. For the dill, what I would usually do is I would cover the bottom entirely with dill and cover the top entirely with dill. Right now I'm using probably 1/4 of a bundle that you would buy at a grocery store, when in reality I'd probably use over half if I had the option. We're going to take a handful of our cure and we're just going to sprinkle it on. Go ahead and rub that in. For this, you're going to want to have one hand that's dirty and one hand that's clean, so there's no cross-contamination should you not use up the entire cure. So you can go ahead, keep your clean hand clean, keep the dirty hand dirty. Cover that salmon. Keep in mind, salt is salty, so don't kill the salmon. You still want to be able to have flavor in it. Natural flavor. That side is done. We're going to flip it over real quick. And again, keeping the clean hand clean. I'm going to go and just So this recipe that I'm giving you is for half a fillet. For a full fillet, you would use 1/3 of a cup of salt, 1/3 of a cup of sugar, and then 2 tablespoons of sugar. As you guys can see, when I'm putting my cure down, I'm raising my hand high, and the reason is it covers more area that way. If you're just kind of like shooting it from the bottom, you're just gonna have the cure in one area. This way it's gonna be more diverse. So, go ahead and wash my hands, but you won't see me do that with the power of film magic.
Film magic.
Film magic.
Oh.
I'm content with this. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna put my dill on top, sparsely, but dill nevertheless. Keep it like so. You wanna cover as much area as you can with the dill, because dill and salmon, it just makes sense. Some people like to put alcohol in their Gravlax, and that's fine if that's what you wanna do. Some people want to put orange rind and lemon rind, also that's fine. I'm more of a minimalist when it comes to flavor, so this is really the way that I take it. For the cure, it's okay if you don't use all of it. If you want to kind of let some salmon not be completely inundated, that's fine. Just make sure that you cover all of the corners or all of the sides of the salmon. You really want that cure to be everywhere. The salt, without saying that it's cooking it, is making it safe, I suppose, is what you would say. And so because of that, you want that to be distributed basically everywhere, so all parts of the salmon are good to go, good to eat. I do not rinse my Gravlax when it's all said and done. I kind of just go with it, and it's never been an issue for me. If your Gravlax is far too salty, you can try rinsing it, and I really hope that's not the case. It's never happened to me, but a buddy of mine just made some, and he used a very small piece of salmon, which you're not going to want to do, and his was just inedible. Told him to make salmon jerky out of it. Fuck it at that point, right? What happens now is fun. We're going to saran wrap the hotel pan that we're using, and then we're going to weigh down the salmon. We're going to weigh it down with some cans, and we're gonna flip it at the halfway point. Since it's gonna be only in the fridge for 2 days curing, we're gonna flip it after the first day and then put the cans back on to weigh that salmon down. What you're gonna see is probably a whole bunch of liquid leaving the salmon, which is exactly what you want. And then by the end of the second day, we're gonna be good to eat this. My favorite part about doing this on camera is you guys don't get to watch me struggle with fucking saran wrap. I hate this shit more than anything. Sticks to everything, sticks to itself. You get frustrated, it rips, you gotta rip more, you get more frustrated. Just because I said that, it's gonna work out well. Leave some slack in there because the cans are going to be pressing down on the salmon. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Here. This was easy, and it's never this easy. Okay, so we got a seal on our salmon. Seal on salmon. Salmon seal. All those cans you forgot about years ago, find them and put them on the motherfucker. Done. Pop this in the fridge. See you in 2 days. Did you like what you saw in part 1 of the video? Great. Gently nudge that subscribe button. Like the video. Follow my Instagram, I Can Cook I Guess. Send me a message about how my beard is majestic or how I desperately need a haircut. Wait, you can't see that because I'm wearing a hat. That's 1 point for Jesse. If you have anything you want me to cook, anything you want to see, any questions you have, shoot them my way. Maybe I'll make a video out of it. Maybe I won't. Who's to say? All right, guys, we're back. Underneath this mysterious paper towel lies a freshly cured piece of salmon, which we call Gravlax. So let's unveil that. Oh, so pretty. How we got to this point is we took it out of the cure. We drained the whole deal, pulled off all the dill. It has a nice firmness to it. It's also become a bit more opaque on the edges, which is really nice. And your guess is as good as mine as to whether this is ready or not. I followed my 2-day rule. So what we're gonna do is we're going to split this down the middle. You don't have to do that with your Gravlax, but it will be more manageable. It's a smaller piece. So I broke that down. I'm gonna keep one clean hand, one hand that's touched the fish, and we're gonna get our first slice. You're gonna wanna cut at a 45-degree angle. And I'm happy with this flavor. I do agree that I could have used more dill because that would have added more to the freshness. Right now you get the taste of salmon, which was really nice. You have the sugar, and there's the salt as a background, but I do miss the extra dill that could have been. We're gonna keep cutting at that 45-degree angle. And give our talented camera woman a piece.
It's so good.
And with that, we are good to start our plate. So I'm done cutting the salmon. We've been stealing little bits and pieces of the Gravlax as we've been going. Let's talk about what this is good with. So if you want, you can make a honey mustard, or you could buy a honey mustard. You can add dill to it, but like a dill mustard with Gravlax and fresh bread is heavenly. Shit's addictive, man. Making Gravlax is incredibly simple. It's super easy, it's super fresh, it's great for the summer. You can have it on toast, you can have it by itself, you can have it for breakfast. Fried eggs with Gravlax on the side instead of smoked salmon, bruh, more fresh. Plain and simple, Gravlax is easy. It's short, you forget about it in your fridge, you flip it at the 24-hour point, everything becomes nice, and like a mixture of salty and sweet. This color is just like, it's tantalizing. It's borderline fucking erotic, bud. You see the fat ripple through the salmon, and that's great. The one thing I would say is when you're cutting your salmon, make sure to have thin slices, but also be sure to be conscious of any pin bones. If there weren't any, or there was one for this whole loin, but if you're gonna find one, definitely pull it out, because you don't want to swallow that and have it poke you on the way down. Just like hacking away because you have some salmon bone in your throat. That sounds miserable. Gravlax, we did it. If you liked the video, below on the subscribe button, just give it a nice little, and maybe if you're feeling generous, click it ever so slightly. You'll see more of me being obnoxious and doing foodstuffs. So subscribe. Follow my Instagram at ICanCookIguess. Check out the other videos we have, and if you want me to do anything on the camera, in the background you'll probably hear my dog gnawing at my girlfriend's hand. But if you want me to cook anything in the future, put it down in the comments and we'll get shit done.